There's nothing that can kill your trading account more than a trading style that just doesn't suit you. So knowing the secret to finding your perfect trading style is absolutely crucial. In this video, we were having a trading review meeting with our traders about a breaking news trade they took when the conversation suddenly shifted to the technique that allows you to find your ideal trading style. Luckily, we were filming and we'd love to share it with you. I'm Jeff Holden, and we are one of the top proprietary trading firms in the world with numerous 7 and even 8-figure per year traders. You found the right place to learn. We've been talking about the best trading opportunities of the week with our new developing class and with the interns that have just started. Coin was on pretty much everybody's radar as one of the best opportunities from, I believe, last week we're talking about. Yeah, last week. So, we wanted to break it down and we challenged the traders on the desk to put together a playbook, just like we do. A playbook is ultimately a roadmap for the types of trades that you might make, and then a way for you to study the types of trades that you make in order to do more of them and do them better. So anytime you see something that makes sense to you, you can playbook it. Ultimately, you'll filter out probably, maybe half of the playbooks you do, and you'll be like, yeah, that trade's not really for me, or that's not really in this market or whatever. But you'll always wind up with this really powerful playbook if you take this exercise and do it the right way. The right way, meaning do it with intent. Do it with the idea that if you were going to trade this trade 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times, what are the things that you would need to understand to help you make this trade effectively? So today we're here with Molly. He's going to talk us through the breaking news trade in Coin. This one occurred pre-market, I believe.
Yeah, last week, Tuesday, pre-market.
Pre-market. And so we're going to talk through some of the specifics, and I'll probably challenge him a little bit to see if he can grow a little as a trader.
Okay, so this trade happened last week, Tuesday, June 6th, pre-market, where Coin had headlines that SEC was suing them. So I'm going to be walking over the breaking news trade happened at that time. So big picture, basically what happened was SEC charging Coinbase as an operating unregistered broker under their rules. And they state that they have been doing unregistered activities since 2019. And of course, whenever SEC sues a company, that's never a good sign. That was the initial reaction.
So what'd you score it out of 10?
10.
Negative 10 out of 10.
10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why?
SEC is the biggest compliant of all any stock. And if they are not okay with that portion, and plus it's Bitcoin, it's not normal stock either. It's like Bitcoin itself.
I actually think your second bullet point right there is why it's a negative 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to that.
Okay, all right, just to jump ahead. Yeah. SEC's bad, right? SEC
bad.
Suing you.
It happened to Binance. Binance went down the day before. Bitcoin itself, a question, everything just lined up. That was just, I wanted to hit it. That was 10.
We saw the negative reaction to Coin, to Mara, to Riot, to BTC, all off of that Binance news. And so it's like when it happens then to Coin the next day, it makes it a negative 10.
Yeah, it's already went SSR the day before. It was already bleeding. So the stock is already bleeding, and another big news come. There are already sellers from prior days. Now there are bigger players wants to sell. There are day traders wants to get short. Everybody's just in one direction, and there is a really significant news. So I just want to hit it. Okay, so prior today, this trade wasn't super big picture trade, but I will be going over Coin stock itself on a bigger picture. Qs were hitting, guys.
Coin had just been trading sideways, right?
Yeah,
it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just sitting there, which was weird because you see all this risk assets starting to go up, and this just kind of went sideways.
Yeah, and Coin is a type of stock when you had news, it used to move multiple ATRs really quickly, right from the open. That was that dangerous and very rewarding stock if you're on the right side.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of the momentum died. It doesn't move that much. It's became quiet, but market is getting higher. So I just wanted to highlight that in the bigger picture.
Yep.
Bitcoin bigger picture also. Bitcoin is ranging to.
Yeah, but this doesn't really matter on the,
Yeah,
on
it
the
doesn't-
bigger
it-
picture.
yeah, it
so let's
doesn't
jump
matter,
ahead.
yeah.
Yep.
And this is
Beto,
just
same thing. Yeah, I would just jump
Byto
ahead.
ETF.
Yep.
Qs, that's we already talked about that. AI names, Qs are hitting highs. This was just interesting. Qs were unable to hit higher, but today was the first time we did actually hit 50 with highs. Intraday fundamentals.
Which ones of these are most important?
I highlighted. The most important was today was the daily volume to the average daily volume,
Okay.
and ATR to the day range.
Okay.
Because when I see that breaking news, I want candles like 0.2, 0.3 ATR itself by like just
Each
move.
candle, each 1 minute candle, maybe.
Yeah,
0.2,
like
0.3
first couple minutes at least, like
Yep.
maybe not after 5-6 minutes, but like I want to see that reaction. People really.
That's a
want to
really
get up.
interesting gauge.
Yeah.
If you see 30% of an ATR in a 1 minute candle post news, that's actually relevant.
Yeah,
But if it's barely moving, it's
yeah,
not.
then
Yeah.
yeah,
So you're trying to find clues that the market is agreeing with you that this is a negative 10 out of 10 catalyst.
yeah. That's one thing I've been working on. Like I grade the catalyst itself, then I go to like reaction.
Yep.
Is it other people thinking that too?
Is the
Because-
reaction
Yeah.
lining up with how I've graded it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, volume, and yeah.
Yep.
So as far as trade strategy, this trade happened pre-market. So pre-market doesn't trade as after 9:30 how it trades. It's not that liquid, but the way coin was trading, like way better than 9:30.
Yep.
It's like so liquid. It's moving. So as far as that, I really wanted to get involved, but we really get those multiple candles just down move. At that moment, like your job as a trader to hit that, but also your job as a trader to manage the risk and where am I hitting actually? Like
Yeah.
I was very cautious, and that's another thing I'm trying to work on, like actually hit, like being more reactionary, those hitting the first moves, rather than wait for the bounce and fade it. That's the second strategy that I worked on, and I did get better at, like wait for that small second bounces, like it ticks up and then it immediately slams back. I shorted that as a strategy because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, it's probably not gonna bounce a couple minutes because the news is heavy. But if you get small second like goes up and down immediately, they slam it back,
Yep.
then you just short that, and your risk is basically those sellers.
So that's not the trade strategy. The core trade strategy here is what? It's negative breaking news. What do you
negative breaking news, and you want to get short.
You want to get short.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're looking for some of the clues that you talked about. What we're talking about is the execution, right?
Yes,
The specifics of execution.
Yeah, that's
and that's really where the nuance to this is, but you have to understand the core trade strategy.
Yeah,
And it sounds like you outlined a lot of the core trade strategy, which is you're looking for two different trades. You're looking for that first reaction, and then you're potentially, because it's such a negative catalyst, looking
Yeah.
for that continuation move, which is that trending move
yeah,
down after.
yeah,
But those are two different things than, trade strategy is so different than execution.
yes.
So let's not let the two get confused here.
yeah,
And let's talk about the trade strategy as being, this is a negative 10 out of 10 catalyst. As long as the price action is responding this way, I'm not just thinking one trade. I'm thinking potentially two different trades.
yes.
Here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was my strategy. Get short until you see it's not well anymore. There are buyers. That was my strategy.
Yep. Okay.
Trade management. This is the thing that I just went previously, but first of all, the trade review, because it's pre-market, my executions are not. It's not showing, and I went there to timestamp to see where I did get short, so I kind of highlighted
Cool.
there in the class. So my initial trade execution was after those momentum. We did slow down a little bit. There was buyers at 51. We got a rebid to 52. We tried to go over 52 and then came back immediately, and I got short there. So at that point, I'm expecting continuation from there. And my risk is not immediate up move because it can spike up. I want to see it spikes up and holds there like 1 second maybe. Like there are bidders. It bids up, then I'm out. But I'm not getting out immediate that up move because I have experienced multiple times. I get wicked out. I want to see I'm wrong, but not too late.
Have you thought about how to size this? What would you do from a sizing perspective? Are you hitting in with all your size at once?
In that execution, yeah, because if I'm wrong, I don't want to size up if it bounces on me. I don't want to.
What about
size up.
scaling into it?
scaling into it, if after I get in, I actually did add, but I just increased my size after it proved.
After the turn.
After
Yes.
the turn, yeah.
And so there are two different kinds of
Yeah.
trades that you can make.
Yeah.
You could start to scale in where you know you're in some, say 20, 30% of your
Yeah.
total position. And then when you see something else, you can get to full size in your position.
Yeah.
The other thing to do is you just wait to see something, and that's where you get full size. They're very different, and when you talk with a lot of traders, some will say, "Why don't you scale every time?" And
Yeah.
others will say, "You just have to hit."
Yeah.
Right? They're two different psychologies
Yeah.
involved. And the ones that scale in are the ones that are going to probably have a lot more latitude
Yeah.
to be able to adjust their position sizing, and they're actually playing a position sizing game, versus the ones that you see it on the tape, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you're just in. And there isn't a right or wrong way to do these
Yeah.
things. They're just different, and you have to know what works for your personality. And you really learn what works from your personality very quickly, because you'll try scaling in one time and you'll hate it.
Yeah.
Or you'll try hitting it and you'll hate that you
Yeah.
have to take it off right away.
Yeah. For me, I never liked being in drawdown. Like I wasn't really get in line with the idea of like I will add like FS goes up, and I didn't really like adding into so much. So I like to hit my initial size and like 80% of it, because if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, after that, if it the way it moves, if it tells me like, wow, this is actually really working, then I'm okay with adding more size and increase my risk, because I know my initial size was up there. So I know if it goes against me, I will lose more, which I'm fine with, because it's going well. Like I want to go size in if it's working,
Okay.
and I want to get out as soon as if it's not working. So
Okay, great. So you're much more two hands on the wheel trading
yeah,
than a lot of other people who
Yeah.
are comfortable scaling in but letting it wiggle against them a little bit and then looking for that broader turn.
yeah. I mean, I do scale in certain criteria, like, but not in breaking news, because
Okay.
it can jump back so much. Like if it's overextension play, like Chinese ADRs, like sure I can scale in slowly, but not particularly breaking news trade. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
So I had the initial short at 52, and we immediately came down. And at that point, I'm thinking, people are really selling, and do I want to add more? And I did add more into the pop, and I covered some into next flash, because I'm also thinking about time when I trade breaking news. Like it's not like fade all day. Market is gonna open and it can go up really heavy. So as the time goes, the institutions, I'm thinking people who want to sell probably get out. So like how far we can go. So I took most of my size in that green dot.
Okay.
And then
Why though?
Why?
Yeah.
Really,
why? Not what was your invented reason. Why did you really take it off there? Most of your size.
the buyer was like, the buyer at 51, it didn't really hold. And then we immediately came back. But the buyer there, I can't see the price exactly, it hold, and we bounced like 20-30% of the initial spot.
Yep.
So I'm like thinking, if there's a buyer, I'm not gonna give back again most
Yep.
of that. So I'm gonna take off somewhere the buyer is.
Yep.
If that buyer doesn't hold there.
So you saw it go in your direction.
Yeah.
And then you saw how quickly that response
Yeah.
was against it. And then it looks like you added. And then it came back to that price where you saw that quick reaction
Yeah.
from. And you were like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, like
So why I'm challenging you here is the trade that you made initially was purely momentum.
yeah.
And the momentum died when it flushed down and started to rebid and hold.
Yes.
And so you're almost confusing two trades here with that momentum versus the continuation trade. I'm not saying your exit was wrong, but you look at the opportunity of what you missed by thinking, okay, we got back to lows. Now I'm going to cover my entire position, and then not being there to add for that break. And maybe we're in the meeting and you weren't able, you were at your station or something like that. But we just talked about the trade strategy is momentum down,
Yeah.
consolidation, continuation, right? That's the negative breaking news playbook. And it's going to come in all sorts of forms with all sorts of trades. But look, you covered at the low of the consolidation phase
Yeah.
and then just had this small trailer for the rest of the trade lower, it looks
Yeah.
like. And it's like that second leg, that trend move lower, that's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it's No, I agree. I actually was aware that it was turning into continuation. I was thinking about like, because I had a data that I was studying, like breaking news. The event happens and the initial move, I call that excitement move, like everybody talking about it.
Excitement. That's a good way to, yeah.
And after that, when the people think move over, it continues actually. Like it goes.
All the good ones will
all
have
the
a
good
second
ones,
leg.
It goes. And that was what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not going to take it off here because I know it more likely going to go down, but I didn't have enough data or conviction that I can really leave much size. And I don't want to trade just based on how I feel on
Intuition.
it. Like, I want to have...
You haven't developed your intuition.
Yeah.
You've observed some patterns.
Yeah.
I'm telling you to work on that specific trade
because
you're talking about something that could go from making one really good trade to two really, really good trades.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm interested in, like, you entered breaking news, but if you don't cover in that excitement, right? If you are seeing the big picture, how bad the news is, if it actually can go way lower, can you add and turn into continuation?
It's up to you. So you can, the ways that you can do it, and the way that you entered based on a momentum criteria.
Yeah.
You entered that the momentum selling was there, they were stacking, and it was going to go lower, right? So you should exit when the momentum dies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then when it does reset, then you can start to look for the next one. There are traders who just shorted this, and they're like, I'm not covering until it tells me that it's done going lower.
Yeah.
And they had the full intention of this being a swing trade. And I don't think it ever turned into a swing trade. I think actually the low was like pretty much right after the open on this. And so they probably made a trading decision there. But on a negative 10 out of 10 catalyst, that's a reason to swing trade something. So if you are a swing trader, you might even wait till the end of this day and then see how the close is and then put on a trade using the stop of where the undisturbed price was, like way up there, right? Or you might say, I'm gonna trade this as a trade to hold. So coming into I'm gonna short when I get a good price to short, and then I'm gonna really kind of make it put in a higher low somewhere in order for me to be stopped out of this trade, right? I'm expecting it to trend lower through the day, so I need a distinct higher low put in and a higher high to tell me that this is no longer trending.
Yeah.
A third way to trade it might be move-to-move trading, which is, I think, more of what we're talking about, where you get that initial momentum and then you get some sort of retracement. And you can hold through that entire retracement sometimes if you think the catalyst is big enough. And then when it goes for that second leg lower, you're going to exit into that second leg.
Yeah.
Or you can scalp it.
Yeah.
And scalping would be, I'm short. As soon as the momentum stops going down, I'm out. And then that reset, I'll look for that, and I'll look to either short into the top of the range if I think I can identify that, or wait for the range to break and then scalp it to the downside there.
Okay, yeah, I understand. You're saying like enter momentum, cover the momentum, and then if you're gonna trade the move, then enter as a trade move.
Yep. Yeah, we just talked through 4 different ways to trade this same thing, right? Yeah. And the key for you at this point in your trading career, because we recognize this in traders. And it's really tough because when you see something, a lot of times it just makes so much sense to you that it's hard to think about how someone else sees it.
Yeah.
And that kind of can get you in trouble sometimes because then you start trading everything the way that you see it. But you're surrounded by a desk of elite level traders who work really hard to identify the specifics of when to make what decision, right? And you want to take that knowledge and you want to learn from each of those pieces. And you want to ask yourself, is this the right trade for me? Should I be making a swing trade here? And if the answer is no, and you know why you don't really want to make a swing trade there, maybe you're not a swing trader. Perfectly fine. Yeah. Great reason. Should you be making a trade to hold there? Well, if you are making a trade to hold there, you're not really going to care about fighting for price as much on entry because you know you're just looking for this to kind of make its way down through the day, right? If you're going to be a little wider with your stops. If you're a move-to-move trader, you're going to be much more precise, but you're going to be, if you're entering on failed momentum, you're going to be exiting on momentum.
Yeah.
And then if you're a scalper, you're going to have the most leeway. You're just going to take advantage of the opportunities as they show up. But the key is to, especially early in your trading career, listen and learn what other people are doing. and think about why did they make that decision? What about their personality made sense in that one? Because what that's going to do is provide this filter for you of understanding, oh, this person does it this way, this person does it this way. And then you're probably not going to do it the same as anybody else because it's going to be you. But you understand why they're doing each of those things. So you'll be able to put together your own little spin on the exact same situation, which is down, sideways, down.
Yeah.
All of us are looking at it the same way. But there's a little nuance to this game. And that nuance is really the difference between making a good trade and getting paid in trades.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, like you said, there's so much different variables that you can trade. I was trying to do my personality, because if I take the trade that is not mine, I just get out on random reasons.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that. Like, I want to take the trade I'm comfortable with so I can hold as much as I...
You may be getting in for random reasons.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you're getting in for random reasons. It looks like you're getting in for good reasons, but you're not matching the reason to enter with your reason to exit.
Yeah. No, I was talking about this one. Like, in general, like, if in my, like, last year or whatever, if I hear someone take a trade, like, right now I'm working what makes sense to me.
Yep.
Like, I will talk with traders, like, maybe that's a good long spot. That's after the first green candle. It was short to me because the way it reacted.
Yep.
So just trying to find, like, myself, how I fit.
Yeah. And you can ask yourself figure out how you fit. You can just ask yourself some very basic questions. How do I feel in this trade? Did you feel uncomfortable at all shorting into that? No, not at all. Did you feel uncomfortable when it was grinding against you after it put in that wick low?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Right? So that's telling you, what your self-talk is probably like, what am I doing here? Why didn't I cover down there? Oh, maybe I'll add some because it should work from here. But your self-talk is so different than when you're in the right trade for you.
Yeah.
And that's just a really simple way to filter out a lot of the things that you shouldn't be doing, is listen to the way you're talking about the trade.
Yeah, I understand. This was a good example. Also, like, being pre-market, I don't know if I hit any pre-market breaking news before. Like, I hit breaking news, but not pre-market. So I'm like, market is gonna open. Like, what am I looking for? Like, I know how the entry was work, how it should go down, but like after that, market is gonna open. Who else is anticipating? Then I start asking those questions, and that's where I'm like, I need to see more pre-market breaking news, because I like to enter things that I've seen, but like, I'm confident how it should end. You know, not only the entry.
Oh, if you find how to have confidence for how it should end, please let me know. It's a very difficult thing in trading. We're never 100% sure. We never really have confidence in it.
Yeah.
We just have ideas of what potentially could be happening.
Yeah, I see. Just for this one, just being a pre-market, because
if you're ever really confident in an idea, let me know, and I'll probably short the other.
Yeah,
I'll take the other side of that trade.
No, I wasn't meaning like.
And same thing. If I'm really confident in an idea, like, listen and then just take the other side of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That happens to me so many times. Like, I will.
Because when we're confident, we're usually not listening.
And we are not seeing something.
We're not listening to the stock. We're listening to what we think should happen in the stock.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're right or wrong more often. It's just we're probably actually not paying attention to the information. And that's telling us something. So if we're like, this is definitely going down, like, maybe.
Yeah.
But if we understand why it should be going lower, like, oh, okay, this is this. I saw this on the tape. I saw this. Like, that confidence just lets us get a little sloppy and then blame it on, like, this idea, sort of thing.
Yeah. When I say like confident, I meant like, if I know how it should end, then I'm so comfortable.
If you have a baseline.
Yeah. So I know where I need to get out, because most of the problem, like, I don't want to hold anything and start hoping. If I'm confident what should happen, and if it doesn't happen, I'm just out.
So let's talk through what would have made you confident in this trade.
The way after my initial entry, the way we came down, that made me confident. Okay, like, I want to add more, because if we came down, like, if the scenario was we came down,
but why not just take it off and say, I know I want to stay involved in this?
Why not take it off?
Why not take it off in that first? So we're talking about after your entry.
Oh yeah.
And that first move lower. If you were uncomfortable in the retracement, why not just take it off when it really rushes lower? Because it had a really good rush from your initial short.
Yeah, no, I remember what I was thinking there. It's like the first green candle, right? It tried to bid and then it immediately flashed down. And I thought that was gonna be the like we bid and then I was expecting continuation. And
Then we got it.
yeah, no, I'm talking the second one. This second
Oh, I see. Yep. You're
Second
talking about
leg
that little spot that you added.
yeah, like I
Yep.
didn't see like somebody's really bidding. It's like bouncing
You
because
didn't see real buy.
I'm looking for like type of bounce like it rebits and then like 30-40 cent rebit and then high volume.
Yep.
And that's like my cue. Okay, I'm out. It was so slow that made me want to add like it's just coming up.
It's
and
a
the-
trap. It's
yeah,
a trap.
like-
It's like that slow grind
Yeah.
can be such a trap.
Yeah,
And it can make you so uncomfortable because you feel like I should just add. But a lot
Yeah.
of times that's actually being very sloppy because that slow grind has to change. Because the reality is there's a bidder there and the bidder won't drop. But once that bidder drops, then it should go.
yeah,
You just have to wait for that bidder to drop.
yeah. I agree what you're saying actually. I added there expecting to go down and it tried to rebit and then it came down immediately, right? At that moment I'm like I'm taking off because
Are you the only trader in the world?
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the only trader that thought maybe it was going to turn from right there and go lower?
No.
No. What really happened was a lot of people hit that. It didn't go lower. And what did really traders with tight risk do? They probably
Well,
covered.
They will cut it on that
Yeah.
power up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will need. I don't have enough. That visual bar only is not enough for me to cover because seen so many times over and over, like you get commit yourself. Oh, it's a higher high. I'm getting out, and then immediately comes back. I need to see a volume. Everything has to like align. Oh, this is going up. Then I will
Because
cover.
let's talk about why you need to see that. Because the trade you're making is that higher time frame participants are going to hit the sell button.
Yeah.
So if people trading 150,000 shares as an aggregate spray it up 20 extra cents,
Yeah.
is that going to matter to a higher time frame
No,
participant?
not
No,
so.
they're not going to care. They're just going to sell it, right? They'll sell it at any price.
Yeah.
They'll sell it wherever they can. If there's a big change, then you have a reason to exit, right? If this would have held up, then you would have a reason to exit your position for either break even
Yeah.
or loss.
Yeah, I guess that comes to the idea like if I see that change, then where is that big player selling?
I still think
Yeah, he
you got to
should.
listen to me on this one.
Yeah.
I really think you have to make a distinct decision here of if you're going to enter on momentum, you likely want to exit on momentum to an extreme, right? And then give yourself a chance to reset because you might have this untapped skill of the entry you made, the initial entry had so much precision to it.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you got a little sloppy when it started to grind up and you were like, oh, I think that's the turn. And then you entered and then it kind of wicked up and then did all that stuff, right? Yeah. So it's almost like when you have that much precision on entry, that's telling you something. And it's like when it works out that quickly, you can just take it off and reset and then look for a totally different trade. What are you afraid of if you took it off into that first move down?
I see. No, I thought I got you wrong the first time. I understand. You saying take it, sell it like short there. Just it worked. Just take that. I think more than afraid, I wasn't convicted. Like we always talk about in the meetings, like do you actually have a like reason to cover? Or are you just covering because you are up in the money? And like I used to that. I'm like working on I just wouldn't care how much I'm up. Like, am I have a reason? I think I didn't have a reason.
And that's perfectly valid. If you didn't have a reason, that's perfectly valid to not take a cover there. Yeah. Right? Perfectly valid. I was just curious because if you had a reason there, then you take a cover. And if you don't have a reason there, then don't take a cover. But understand there are going to be times that you're going to get that grind against you and you're going to be break even on a trade that you were up pretty nicely on.
Yeah. No, okay, thank you.
And also make that adjustment to when it comes back to the price that's actually the price that it was before, right where that wick low is, you don't need to cover 90%. Because what did it just tell you? It told you that we had that grindy buyer that took it up, and then the sell program took back over, right?
Yeah.
So where would your stop be now for that trade?
Oh, above that, wherever I added, like
Yep.
on that.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it shouldn't come back there.
Yeah, it should.
And so you don't need to take it off. It feels good to take it off because you're like, oh, phew, now it's back down there. But you don't need to take it off. You just need to update the narrative. If you didn't have a reason to sell, reason to cover before, you don't have a reason to cover now.
Yeah.
In fact, you have more checks in your favor for that trade working.
Yeah, I understand.
So I like the execution here. I just hate the sizing on it.
The size.
I hate that you took 90% off on that after riding it up against you.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 90, but yeah, I did take most of it there.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I guess it's psychological. I need to get better at it. Like it came back to you. Like I'm okay if it's like it's.
You already rode through all the pain.
Yeah.
Just take the reward. It's telling you it's probably going to work better now.
Yeah.
Just take the reward.
Yeah, you're right. It's.
So what are you going to do to practice this? What exercise are you going to do in your trading that you can implement as soon as we walk out of here? It's whatever time now, 5 minutes when you're sitting in your desk. What exercise can you implement in order to practice letting that wiggle happen? Like, first of all, really what you're practicing is what are your reasons to cover in these trades,
Yeah.
right? And you said I didn't have a reason to cover on that first move down.
Yeah.
So what can you go and do to practice right now?
To make sure, what am I looking for reason? What is the reason actually? Maybe I'm thinking there's no reason. Maybe there's reason, or maybe that was the first thing I thought. Like go back and scan what are you actually reasoning with? Like what is the reason for?
What's a real reason to sell?
Yeah.
What's a real reason to cover for these trades?
Yeah.
And a really good practice is just to go back and look through, you probably have 10 of these negative breaking news trades that you've taken so far.
Yeah, like 6, 7 probably.
Yeah, 6 to 10. Just go back through each of those
Yeah.
and actually figure out what's a reason to cover.
Yeah.
What's my real reason to cover?
Yeah, no. When you
Because
say
otherwise you're going to get sloppy. And just because it worked really well and you covered at a nice price, I don't think you're going to recognize your potential without really understanding what's your reason to cover for this.
Yeah, thank you. No, when you say like that, I realize like.
I mean, you don't have to thank me. You're the one that has to go do the work. So you have to go back, sit at your seat, and probably do the work after hours today to really come up with what are reasons to cover for this trade for me, right?
Yeah. No.
And not other people's reasons to cover. What are your reasons to cover in a trade like this?
Yeah, I said like thank you in a way. I realized like sometimes I think I'm okay with uncomfortability, but there I wasn't, and I didn't think that was the reason. Like when you pushed it that way, I was actually very uncomfortable there because like I added, but it went up again and it immediately came back down. Like what's happening? Like I kind of like, because whatever I'm thinking is not happening. I became like uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna get out, I'm in the money, I'm just gonna take it. Because at that moment I felt like I don't have that much control in it.
That
Maybe I need to work
what
on.
you just said. Recognize the moments that you feel in control versus the moments you feel like I don't have much control. Because that feeling of I don't have much control is essentially the feeling that sets a lot of traders on tilt. Right? And it can happen in both directions. In this case, it happened with you taking profit. That's the best possible situation to have, is it goes in your favor and you take profit.
Yeah.
What if it keeps grinding against you and you feel like I don't know what to do here, and you make a bad trading decision, and then you make a bad trading decision with size, and then it starts to snowball against you, and all of a sudden it's all these bad things that happen over and over and over again. But it all started because you went from a trade that you understood to being in a position where you didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you knew what to do here. You just kind of were doing what you thought was the right thing. Without knowing that, oh, this is what I should be doing here. And that feeling of of being out of control, that is the feeling you want to avoid as a trader.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best practice, I remember the video in the like top traders were talking, if you feel like something, you know, like just get out. That's like what I was thinking. I don't feel that control, and I'm just gonna get out, because if it goes down, why it goes down? If it goes up, I'm gonna start questioning myself. It wasn't the same trade anymore. Maybe that was the mistake I did, because I was really sure and relaxed when I hit on the top, which was the most hard spot to hit, but I was calm.
Yep.
When it starts fading, I guess like when action is slower, I get maybe worse in it. Like it's just slow, like less volatile.
You can get locked in much easier.
Yeah.
And you can get locked into an idea, and you can let it grind against you. And that being locked in can be just, you lose all flexibility. And you said yourself earlier today that you don't like the scaling into a position.
Yeah.
You like the finiteness of being in when you see what you need to see.
Yeah.
So you need to have those same standards for yourself on the way out. Otherwise, you're going to go into this almost position sizing game, which you want to avoid as much as possible. All right. So I like this best practice for you. Okay. So you're going to go back to your seat today. Yeah. When can we expect it done?
I want to spend time. I can do it tonight, but I want to do take my time and actually do it.
Yes.
Maybe a week. If I practice every day 1 hour, it's 7 hours of work. That should fit into me.
Yeah.
Probably 1 week.
You just take it, and it's not that much. It's an hour a day, right? But just think through, what's my reason to cover? What's my reason to sell? What's my reason to cover? Ask other traders, what are their favorite breaking news trades? And go back and do either bar by bar or watch the tape if you can get it. But just do that practice. And just by doing that, you will develop essentially a really good feel for, is this really a spot that I should cover? Or am I really uncomfortable? Is there a chance that I'll get really uncomfortable in this position?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll just take that, and I'll look forward to next week you kind of presenting some of this stuff, and maybe we'll post it at a link or something like that, some of the best practices.
So you're an active trader, not doing as well as you want, not doing as well as you deserve, and you just can't figure out why you can't become profitable no matter how hard you try. Well, let me show you why. This is your competition. The traders in this room. This room right here is full of elite traders, some of whom are making 7 and even 8 figures a year. In fact, our top guys have made nearly 20 million each in net trading profits in a single year. Let's head to my office so I can share more. So you're probably used to seeing videos of lavish trader lifestyles, trading gurus trading off of the laptop for an hour a day, heck, maybe even 15 minutes a day, and then them relaxing on some secluded beach for the rest of the day. Well, all I can tell you is that our traders train like pro athletes. They live and breathe the markets and are continually working on their trading skills. Because at our firm, that's what we found it really takes to make it in this game. I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder and managing partner of S&B Capital, one of the world's top proprietary trading firms located in Midtown Manhattan. And we're always looking for trading talent to hire and develop. And not just to trade in-house on our desk, but also to trade from their own home, entirely using our firm's capital. And we have numerous traders doing just that, allowing them to make upwards of 7 figures trading the firm's capital without risking their own money. But to even get a shot at something like that, you need to have the right training. That's why we're doing a new free online presentation in which we share how you can get an interview with S&B to become an in-house or remote trader, trading firm capital without risking yours and gaining access to all of our firm's coaching and resources. And the best part? You don't have to be a profitable trader yet. In fact, we prefer to mold profitable traders with our methods and our techniques. That's why we have just 3 simple criteria that can earn anyone an interview. We're looking for highly ambitious and determined traders who fit our culture first and foremost. So if you believe that could be you, sign up for the free 1-hour online presentation by clicking the link that's in your top right corner of your screen now.